problem here. It's so huge. I mean, our population numbers are going up so fast.
That is not correct.
So what?
Again,
that's
we
not
beg
correct.
to disagree very strongly, because that has already been proven even by the statistics of our government statistics office. You know, in the past 40 years, every decade there's been a finding of the population growth. It has been decreasing. From the 1960s, that has been 3.0% or a little more. And over the next 10 years, it has gradually been decreasing, actually. And you can see that the size of siblings in a family have been dramatically going down.
Okay, so you're saying we don't have a problem with population, which the bill is trying to address. So therefore, if there is no problem, then we don't need the bill.
And that's not even, that doesn't end there, because it treats population or people as a hindrance to development, which is not true, because people are human capital. In fact, the Constitution again says that the state values labor as a,
so what
you're
saying is the church doesn't see the need for population control, for
mandating an ideal family size, you know, and inviting women to make use of the menu of reproductive health services, quote unquote, which are anyway deleterious to health or even fatal. I mean, where is the common good consideration? Where is the public welfare consideration? Where is the good of the maternal functions of women being protected? It's not there anymore. The rights of spouses to plan the sizes of their families according to their religious convictions. It's being, we don't have much time,
but very briefly, Congressman Garin, can you respond to Attorney Imbong? You know, there is no population problem, so you're creating your own nightmares.
I entirely disagree. Why don't we ask the people? The recent Pulse Asia survey showed that 9 out of 10 Filipinos would like our bill passed, simply because they can feel the effects of population, and they can feel the effects of having too many children, which they cannot afford. It doesn't mean that we are bypassing the Constitution. It simply means that we would like to give our people a good quality of life. Yes, our people are a human resource, they are our wealth, but we have to give them a good quality. They are not mere things, simple things, that they are not an investment. It's a sacred life, and we owe it to them to give them a good quality of life. We talk about legislation, we talk about constitution, we talk about respect for the family. Is it not that we will respect them more if we let them decide? We teach them things, then we don't have to twist information. We don't have to tell them that these are all cancerous, because there is always a contraindication in every medicine. There is always a precaution in every medicine. Even the pills that you use exogenously for hormonal imbalance are the same pills that you are using for reproductive health.
Attorney Imbong, if you say that we have no population problem, we shouldn't, there is no runaway population figure to worry about. What about poverty? I mean, there are many poor families, and sometimes it's very jarring when you see very, very poor couples and they have 6, 7, 8, 9 children. Every year nanganganak yung babae. Sus Mariosep, I'm sorry. Sus Mariosep talaga, di ba?
I have 8 children, Pia. I have 8 children.
Well,
good that you can afford.
But what about, there's that reality also. So, what can the church do?
The church is not blind to that. We can see the poverty. In fact, the church silently and quietly helps in all these alleviation programs on its own, even without broadcasting it. It doesn't have to be that way. However, the causes of poverty, the true and real causes of poverty, should be addressed. It is not people that cause poverty. It's many other things. And we know it's corruption, it's mismanaged governance, and many other things. People is a factor for development. It's not the reason.
Well, speaking of corruption, the people who are critical of the churches or the CBCP stand that those who support this bill, and not just abortion lang pala, basta itong bill na to, author and supporter, will not receive communion. Some people say, well, what about, there are graver sins like corruption. You mentioned corruption.
Exactly. Now, the good bishop was acting on his own, in his own particular episcopal territory. As for the other episcopal territories, that would be their own concern.
Yes. Earlier, Congressman Garin mentioned some of the priests talking about, and even in Caloocan, I believe, we had a story earlier today by Jing Casañeda, reporter, that some bishops and priests are talking about non-support for politicians who support this bill come 2010. So it's not just the threat of not being given communion, it's the threat of being campaigned against by the church.
It's in the website
so you're saying
now.
So you're saying this is something that the church will actually carry through? You're really going to This is what the CBCP is going to do
Let's
to
put
these
it
politicians?
this way. Let's put it this way. When the church makes its voice heard, it is because it can see that there is a transgression of human rights. When there is, it can even make its voice heard even on matters that touch on political affairs when it impinges on the dignity of the human person, the rights of the family,
so the
right to life.
CBCP will campaign against politicians who support this bill.
It will not be hindered to speak out because it has a duty to teach the truth.
Yeah. How many Catholics are there in the world today?
Oh, plenty, a lot, billions actually.
Compared to the other religions, you know, are we a minority already?
Well, in the Philippines at least, it's about 82% are Christians, our Catholics or Christians.
Yeah.
Yes.
But, you know, in the entire world, you know, I bring this up because sometimes this is an issue that's brought up against the church, and the reason why the church is so strong against this is because, you know, we don't want the Catholics to be a dying race or religion.
Well,
so dapat magparami tayo, parang ganon.
No, it's more that the church would not be the church if it doesn't teach the truth. It would be failing in its mandate and mission if it were silent in the face of all these transgressions.
Yeah, but for a church to be as powerful and so huge as it is, we need to have the faithful. We need to have a flock that's big enough.
As to power, you know, the church has to take care of the integral good of the human person, not only his physical, his physical happiness, because man is destined not only for this world. That is where the church's teaching is coming from.
All right, we'll have to take a short break. Strictly Politics will be right back with pro-life Congresswoman Liwayway Vincent Chato, and we'll be back in a while. Welcome back to Strictly Politics. Joining us now is Congresswoman Liwayway Vincent Chato. Still with us, Congresswoman Janette Garin. Congresswoman Garin, before Congresswoman Chato, tell us at what level the bill is at now.
It has passed the committee. It's now up for debate and interpellation in the floor when Congress resumes.
Yeah, that's July. Well, Congress resumes July 28.
Yes.
Are you going to July 29? Is there going to be some action, or are we going to wait until August or September?
Well, we would await the decision of the Committee on Rules, but we intend to defend it within the month of August.
This is a resurrected bill, hindi ba?
Well, maraming mga bago, maraming natanggal, maraming dinagdag, but it's more or less a resurrected bill na nabawasan na nabawasan just so it will be passed, just so na merong mangyari sa atin.